Many blockchains that are actually launching today are beginning to see that the EVM, even though it's not really the best of designs, is getting more and more adoption. And in order not to miss out, they are trying to create an EVM version of the blockchain. We have the likes of Near Protocol, for example, built with Rust. You can build smart contract with Rust, but they have an EVM chain which is called Aurora. We have the likes of Solana, you can build with Rust, right? In order to catch up, they are raising money to build Neo. We have the likes of Polkadot. We have things like Moonbeam and Moonriver. We have the likes of Avalanche. They have the C chain and all that. So many blockchain projects are beginning to see that it's very, very hard, because if a blockchain, if a developer who is fast with things like JavaScript, React, CSS, and the rest of them wants to come to the space, they want to learn a language. And they don't want to learn a language on something that is not, that has not been proven true. If you look at the blockchains that have stopped for a long time, you have just Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin is not programmable. Ethereum is the one that's programmable. So in order to tap into this huge talent pool, that is why you see projects. Even if they launch something that is entirely different, they have an arm that cater for developers, and the EVM can be implemented on any blockchain. So meaning, once you have this programming language or Solidity, and the EVM is deployed on any blockchain, the tools that normally would work with Ethereum, the likes of Solidity as a programming language, things like Hearts, things like MetaMask, and everything, all the toolings, 100% will work on this EVM stuff. So that's what they're doing. So in today review, we'll talk about EVM and Cosmos. So Cosmos has been gaining a lot of traction recently. Different projects are launched like Juno, Osmosis, even Binance Smart Chain, Terra Luna. A host of projects have been gaining traction. Cosmos, but there is a need for something that is relatable to Ethereum. That is why you see the likes of Evmos coming on the scene. So that's just a brief introduction. So I'll talk about EVM equivalence. 100%. There's interoperability, meaning assets on this chain, whether they are the ones assets that are bridged to Ethereum, from Ethereum to Evmos, or the assets that are bridged from Evmos chain to other chains. There is this IBC standard under this stuff, so that will not be a problem. And there's security by default. There's a lot of developers. EVM has been proven true, even it has its own flaws. And there is composability, as is normal with Ethereum. And then it has a flourishing ecosystem of products. So you might be asking questions like, for interoperability, you have bridges that will help with that. So we have the gravity bridge, you already know about. We have optics, wormhole, and then connector bridge, ERC20, then the IBC, which is powerfully used within the Cosmos ecosystem. So you might be asking questions like, what other thing does Osmos do very well? So Osmos, it's collaborating with Celestia, which is formerly called, we will do a review on that in the coming days. Lazy Ledger, a platform that separates execution from data availability. And with this collaboration, you have what they call Cevmos. So Cevmos is Celestia plus Evmos. So you can decide to create any kind of rollup, optimistic rollup, ZK rollups of any kind. Spin these things up, and then through these Cevmos, you can connect them to Evmos. In a way, we have the likes of Polkadot having shared security, connecting, Polkadot serving as the relation, and then these parallelations connected to it. So this is the ecosystem. We have EVM modulator to EVM, multi-sigs, the rest of them, bridges, DAOs, indexers like the graph, equivalence, DeFi, of which we'll talk about some of the DeFi projects being on the NFTs and then modular battles. So let's talk about the snapshots that was taken. So anybody that voted on the Atom proposal 44, if you are Atom delegator, you're eligible. Osmos delegators, you're eligible. If you ever used an Ethereum application, the likes of Uniswap, you're also available. If you ever used the bridged EVM bridge, Hot Protocol, and the rest of them, if you were ever robbed, you're also eligible. So these are some of the projects that are building or trying to build on the likes of Aave, recently the proposal for the efficient finance, for our stable coin, Kinesis Labs, and a host of other projects. And here are some of the partners: Coinbase, Cloud, Figment, Equivalence for investing, Uma Protocol as a data oracle, the likes of Pocket Network for access, Kai for archiving, and the rest of them. So the team is being built by Tarsis that took over because the original work was being done by Eternit, but much of it was not done after some time. So these people had to take over the work. And this is the token distribution. And let's talk about the tokenomics. So for the tokenomics, it basically covers what will the token be used for. So governance, want to submit a proposal, transaction fees, and stake it and get reward. Then they have the DApp store. Now, let's talk about the DApp store. Now, you said developers can pay, paying developers and then for operators for their services by a built-in revenue model for DApp stores. So, according to them, when transaction fees are being paid, before now, if you develop an application, the only way you can make money on it is, let's say for example, you have your own token. You can say, okay, the services on this token you need, let's say X amount of token, and then you not pay transaction fees. But this one is all going to change. So then the transaction fees that you pay, let's say in the platform like Ethereum, everything goes to the miners. No, that is changing. Now, if you're building applications, there is a built-in revenue model that the developers, because both needs both. If there are no node operators, network operators, developers will build, but who's going to sign consensus, right? And if there are just those who do consensus, who's going to build? So both of them needs each other. And token will also be used for talking about voting or which is governance. Then if you want to register domain token, just like on the ERC20 tokens to deploy contract and the rest of them. So that is a brief about the Evmos platform. They launched a few days ago, but they ran into some issues, and they are working on it. So I believe it's going to be a big one, but do not take this as a financial advice.